Hey everybody, Jamie Kelly here. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Season 3 of the Approximate Podcast. Be sure to join our Patreon for only $5 a month to see all of Season 3's episodes in full HD video. That's patreon.com/Approximate Podcast. If you're already a patron, thank you so much for your support. And to everyone who's tuned in, we love you all. And now, on with the show. Kitty! Fucking stop it! God damn it. Fucking cat. Yeah, you. Oi. Scrapple. Stop it. Alright, cut. We're done. Fucking cat. God damn it. Keith, you son of a bitch. How you doing?
I am doing great. I have not seen you in quite a while, actually.
Has been too long. I think the last time we saw each other was at the, as of the time of this recording, the Transerotica Awards.
Yeah.
T Awards. That was 2 months ago.
Yeah. That was...
Yeah. And by the way, you fucking looked amazing that night.
Oh, yeah.
You were just rocking the place. It was fucking awesome seeing you there. I remember that while, it's a crazy event, everybody's running around, but you had mentioned something about you taking off to go to Japan, was it?
Yeah,
How was that? What?
That was amazing. I literally went that morning.
Really? It was, wow.
Because it's cheaper to fly out of LAX than it is to fly to Tokyo from Vegas.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah. So my round trip flight was only, I think it was $700.
Really?
Yeah, and then I bought trip insurance. It was $800, but it was $800 to go to Japan, round trip, nonstop. It's a great trip. But I went literally
the day after the award.
Right after.
I had like no rest whatsoever. And then I wasn't expecting at all to win the category that I was in. So I was just like, oh, I have a trophy. And I was like, oh, someone take my trophy. I don't know what to do right now. Oh. And then I'm like conflicted because I'm very excited about going to Japan. But then also like, oh, this big thing just happened. And then I'm getting... That was a lot, actually.
A lot.
Yeah.
But all good, though. It sounds all good stuff. And congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. And
big congratulations.
Tell the people what you won.
So I won the Transerotica Awards Best Transmasculine Performer Award.
Fuck yeah.
It was funny because I'm part of some group chats with Steven, and he reached out and said like, hey, can you let us know a couple of like transmasc talent or just people in general to help present awards? Yeah. And he didn't ask me. I was like, wow. I was like, Steven,
there's a reason why.
I was like, I was upset that night a little bit. I was like, wow, I wore this dress and I'm not going to go on stage. And I was trying not to be petty about it the whole time. I was like, wow. I'm like, I literally am wearing a dress right now. Like, this is like, I haven't worn a dress in like 7 years. I was very excited. And I'm like, wow, Steven, you did me dirty.
All that worry just to find you're the main event.
Yeah, I was like, what?
Oh, and for people that are listening, I don't know, Steven is the CEO of Groovy Productions. Yeah. Yeah. Big name in our industry. Huge name in our industry. So that's for people that might, who's a Steven? You know,
just some Steven guy. There's a lot of them.
Like a dude just told me that he doesn't ever want to see me on stage, and I don't know who he was. He just said his name was Steven.
Yeah, very rude, very rude. No, I love Steven. He's great. Yeah.
So speaking of transmask stuff, like, not only are you a performer and have been for how many years now?
I've been a performer for about like 2-3 years.
Yeah.
More professionally in the past like year.
But now you're also like the behind the scenes running that engine, you know?
Yeah, I don't know how I got here. I guess none of us really do.
No.
We just like somehow we're producing.
It's very serendipitous, absolutely.
Yeah. Getting involved with Transnificent. Via Nikki Sequoia. She had me, or I moved in to Vegas probably at this point, it was May of last year. So now I've been in Vegas officially for a year. And I moved in, and then I started doing PA work for her. And then she broke off from her old company, and we reformed a new company, a new production company.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at currently.
What's the name of the new company again?
It's No Filter Photos.
No Filter Photos. Mm-hmm. That's good.
Yeah, that's nice.
I remember when you guys were just starting to form your own group, and it was something about a donut. You remember? What was it called?
Yeah. So that's so like, I'm trying to think the business terminology for it, but there's like a DBA and then there's like the official name. The official name is Donut Hole is our official name, and we're DBA as No Filter Photos.
Gotcha. Now I like No Filter Photos. It's very good.
Yeah.
Very good. So yeah, God, it's only been a year since you've been here. It feels like so much has happened in that time.
I am astounded by how much has happened. Yeah. And at the same time, like day to day, I'm kind of chilling, but there's so many things that have been happening. Especially with like Transnificent, working with a whole bunch of different new studios, doing individual work. And then that's just on the production side for me. And then I have my vanilla work, and I also have my personal production work for like my self-production work.
Yeah, for your own content and things. Yeah, absolutely. It's you spin a lot of plates in this business as an independent.
Absolutely.
Doesn't it feel good being your own boss?
It really does.
You just want to sleep forever?
Yeah, no, like
every day's Saturday.
Which is the danger.
Yeah, that's the danger.
The danger. When every day's Saturday, no day is Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah, with my vanilla job, I'm like, they're like, you have the next 2 days off. I'm like, no, I don't.
Right.
I certainly do not.
Absolutely.
I'm like, no, I have a break from here. But not from sex work. I have other stuff to do, so busy.
I was going to ask, production-wise, what's your favorite thing? Because when I met you, you were a PA on set for a scene that I was coming in to shoot, and then I was introduced to you as the PA. So from like your PA work, what are you doing? Are you like really into photography now, more editing, videography? What's your...
So funny you say that. None of it, actually.
Really?
None of it. I actually come from a business background. I have a degree from Cal Poly Humboldt in business management.
Oh, wow.
So I do all.
You're gonna be our boss one day. That's goddamn. Okay.
Yeah.
I
relent. I'm already in. Yeah. Where do I sign?
Here for it.
I do great bookkeeping. We just did our taxes for the first time, and like we handed over to the accountant. And I've been doing all the bookkeeping. They're like, wow, like they didn't ask any questions. They're like, okay, all of this makes sense. I'm like, thank you. I did all the bookkeeping.
Oh, yeah.
I did all the tracking.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, and then I do like, making sure like licenses are kept up. I help a little bit with booking. I like doing booking, scouting people, which is mostly just scrolling Twitter.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
So that's fun. Also, I actually really love set design. So that's the thing that I am consistently doing. I do set design, and I tend to do the manual labor, which is like moving lights, setting up the lights.
So still a lot of PA work.
Yeah, still a lot of PA work.
That never goes away.
Yeah.
I mean, that's most of what we do is PA work.
I mean, shit is built in if you don't have a PA. Mm-hmm. If nobody's doing it for you, you got to do it yourself.
Yeah, we don't have the budget for a PA. So I'm like, that's me.
Yeah. For our company, Stephanie's my PA, but we both know how to sling a roll of gaff tape,
Yeah.
Yeah, I essentially funded the majority of our business. So, but I kind of just let Nikki do everything. I'm like, I trust you. Here's some money. If we need more money, I have more money. Like, just do it. I'm gonna trust you.
Well, yeah, and Nikki is a person you ought to trust. Like, I like her passion for it. Like, she's interested in producing.
Yeah, we're gonna have her on the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I was imagining that we'd probably have both you on at the same time to talk about y'all's company.
At some point, yeah.
Yeah, at some point. But Steph and I have a booking list that we have, a Google Docs thing, and we just put everybody we know in Vegas on it. And so we're just like, whoever randomly come up next on the list, that's who we're hitting up. So,
Nikki alone is just a very interesting person because she's been in the industry for 10 years and has been in like so many different sides of the industry because she's gone through a lot of different like huge changes in her life that she has to become like a whole other different market, you know?
Yeah.
So a very interesting person just to have alone. But then you add the two of us together, and there's a whole other story.
Well, yeah, we'll just talk about the company in particular.
I'm curious, how did you all meet?
So this is kind of how I actually like got more into sex work.
Feel free to answer her questions for her.
Yeah, I mean, so this is kind of how I got into sex work. I had got out of I was doing sex work, mostly doing OnlyFans on my own time with my ex-boyfriend. And then I broke up with him, and I was having there was just all this stuff, and I had to move from where I was living before, which was in Humboldt County, California. And so I moved from Humboldt County, California, and I was like, I'm going to move with my mom for like a month or two in Bakersfield, California. And maybe because I was originally going to start a business in Humboldt, I'm like, I'll just start one in Bakersfield. I wanted to start a cafe. So I moved to Bakersfield, and I hated living with my mom because I hadn't lived with my mom since I was like 16. So this was within this was when I was 23. So I had not lived with her in a long time, and I was like, oh yeah, this will be fine.
We're all grown-ups.
I was like, I did it for 16 years. I could do it. Like for like a month or two,
sure.
Not a big deal. I absolutely hated it, and I was so depressed. And my mom doesn't really accept the fact that I'm trans. So it was just like every day being misgendered, and it was exhausting. I couldn't do it, and I had a mental breakdown on Twitter. And Nikki reached out to me. Well, at that point I had filmed with Transnificent once already, and so me and Nikki knew each other through that,
right?
Because I filmed for them once, and she reached out to me and was like, hey, I have an extra room at my house. Like, you can just come and stay, and you can do PA work for me while you figure out whatever's going on and whatnot. And so I moved immediately. I was like, okay, perfect. Yeah, like I'm out of here.
Yeah.
I do not want to be here. I hate it here.
Also, Bakersfield.
Yeah.
I used to live in Porterville, a few miles north of Bakersfield. So that area, it's the armpit of California.
Yeah, I figured, I was like, oh, well, I'll be in Bakersfield. That means I'll be 2 hours from Los Angeles, and I'll be doing all of these collabs, and I'll work for all these companies while not paying rent. That sounds great. But the reality is, I feel like there's a lot of LA talent that's not the most reliable, so it's kind of hard to get a shoot and keep a shoot without people rescheduling and doing the right tests.
There's a lot of flicking out there.
I moved out there. I was like, I'm gonna film. I didn't do a single collab. No, I did one. The second or third day that I moved down to that area, and then after that I never not. I was like, wow, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
So then, once I got to Vegas, I feel like I started actually meeting people in person. I had a lot of connections on social media, but actually meeting people is a lot different.
Yeah, I get the sensation that because I've worked all over, and I've worked in places where there's just no industry at all. Been to LA. And now I'm here for just over 3.5 years now. People come here to work.
Yeah.
There's always going to be flakiness and cancellations here and there, but we all just kind of gather here specifically to be working. So it's nice.
When the industry was hubbed, there's a lot more reliable work. So.
Yeah, it was March, April that I was living near Los Angeles and Bakersfield.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I just wasn't able to really get work while I was out there, which
I'd say this was probably around 2016, 17-ish, and then when
it was good.
Yeah. That's when I lived in LA.
Yeah, there was a grand business exodus from LA to Las Vegas.
Most of it was around Prop 60, the whole thing that was a thing for a while.
Yeah, actually when I moved to Vegas, there was a lot of people that I'm still close with. I moved to Vegas around the same time. Yep. Ashley Aspen moved here about the same time. Ava Holt.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
All the same time. Nicola, when she was here, and which she's gone, but she's coming back.
Yeah, she's coming back.
Yeah, she's coming back.
She has to.
Yeah.
It's a Florida joke, people.
Yeah.
Florida.
Damn.
Yeah, so That was
the government, not the people. Well, I mean, some.
Have you ever been to Florida?
I mean, yeah, but I never had really a bad experience. But I know it's shit.
My first shoot ever, years ago, was in Sarasota, Florida, and I remember I had never been to Florida before, and so I like right there. Sarasota's on the Gulf Coast edge of the state, and it was the Twilight Zone. The whole vibe was bad,
but that was
even that many years ago, just a year after Katrina.
Oh,
so as I'm driving there, like I'm driving through the swamp in Louisiana and everything from Texas, and everything's still all fucked up and blown apart. It was very eerie all the way there. Ugh, and I get there, and it's humid, and the people, like, I don't know, it's just very Invasion of the Body Snatchers kind of vibe. It's like they didn't feel like people, and everything was sticky and gross.
Oh.
And like nothing about like the city planning like made any sense. It was just a really odd experience. So it doesn't surprise me in the least that Florida really is the fucking ball sack of the nation.
I mean, I went for a rope con.
It must be like a ball sack.
I went for a rope con, and then I vacationed in Miami for a second. Like, it was kind of a workcation, but yeah.
Yeah,
so
I have no plans going to Florida.
No, I don't think any of us.
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
For a long while.
Only reason I go back if they had, and they probably won't have it anymore, is like one of the rope cons, because there's a good fetish scene in Florida.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Big fetish scene. Well, that's what FetCon and shit. You know, it was hard. I wonder if they're gonna move that shit out of there.
I was just about to say, I'm curious to see how much industry leaves, because it is so alienating to just the very idea of being a sex worker.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I really hope so. I know this year it's kind of inevitable because they had all their contracts, so I understand them not moving immediately.
Right.
But you know, if they don't move next year, I'm going to be one of the many people that throw a fuss online.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I tend to be the person that I will throw a fuss online.
And just not show up, just that solidarity of just, okay, you want to stay there? You be there alone.
Yeah.
Because we're not coming.
Yeah. They'll probably move it to LA, like DomCon. It'll probably just be again.
I'd like it to be in like Seattle.
That'd be cool.
I like Seattle.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
God, I haven't been to Seattle in years. I used to live in Tacoma, Washington. You get to hear me say that a lot throughout the podcast. You know, I used to live, that town that you just spoke, I was 5 minutes from there.
That's a good place. That's really
Tacoma,
good place.
I was a kid, so it was like 10 years. We actually already told this story with another guest. I think it was with Asia Bell.
Oh,
I think it was at the Asia Bell, because I was saying how I was 10, and at the year that I was there, Nirvana was forming just down the street. Now, I had no way of knowing I was 10, but like I was right there. I probably passed the dude on the street.
You had the energy.
Yeah. But yeah, every time somebody mentions Seattle or the Pacific Northwest, did you know I was 10 when Nirvana was being formed? And they were like right across the street from me.
I started playing them. We've heard this before.
Cut that. So you're just coming off of you got a Joe job, don't you? You got a regular job?
Yeah, I do. I'm a barista.
You don't have to say what it is. Oh, you just sling coffee.
I said it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like very important because I originally got my degree to form a cafe. That's why I went into business management. I've been working like as a barista essentially for like 5 years almost, and like end of day, being a barista is the thing that I am most passionate about. I love it. It's like the thing that like that never stresses me out.
Oh, that's wonderful.
It's just very like it's very cathartic for me. Like I'm very much into like the art of it.
I was gonna ask, are you a coffee nerd?
Yeah.
Yes,
can you make a mean cup of coffee?
Yes, yes, I can. Like so much so that like I kind of hate where I work because I'm like, it's not to my standards.
Oh, like up your shit.
Yeah, I'm just like, I make coffee. I have an espresso machine at home that was relatively expensive. It was like $450. My grinder was like $1,000. Wow.
Oh shit, it's like coffee file.
Yeah. I probably have like $3 or $4 grand worth of coffee equipment.
Oh goddamn! Wow.
At home.
I don't think I've ever heard that before.
Well, okay, since we haven't mentioned any like names. And I doubt your bosses will be listening to this podcast. I don't know. But Our cat is making
Dapper
an
is
appearance.
trying to say something.
Yes.
He wants to say something. I don't think he likes coffee. He's probably like, I don't like it.
He wants to tell us how much he hates coffee.
Yeah.
Actually.
Well, he likes milk because he was snicking on my shoes earlier.
Oh, yeah. It smells the animal fat, just like
Yeah.
cheese.
Yeah.
Not good for them, though.
Well, I was going to ask, since you are a connoisseur, where do you get a really good cup of coffee in Vegas?
In Vegas, Vesta, absolutely.
Vesta.
Okay.
I had an interview with him recently, but I was just like,
Free.
it was. I thought it was gonna be a roasting position, but it was a like a packaging position that might turn into a roasting position. I was like, nah, man. Like, I'm not gonna downgrade to packaging coffee. Like, that's not happening.
Well,
but they have amazing coffee, and it's like very consistent. They like switch out their roasts frequently. I'm a regular. They all know me by name.
Free plug for was it Vesta?
Right?
Vesta.
There you go.
Vesta.
Vesta coffee roasters. They're so
Vesta, give me a
good.
call. Let's go ahead and get you, we'll start promoting you on the sex podcast that you knew nothing about. We got to keep our performers, up and peppy and
Yeah. I mean, I can just come over here and just start slinging shots,
that would be wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where is this place? Because now I'm
Vesta,
asking for myself.
There's 2 locations.
Oh,
There's
great.
one on Sahara.
Oh, okay.
And then there's one, I think it's like Casino Center or something, somewhere downtown.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I don't really know location, but I think they're opening another location in the new casino, the Durango Casino. I think they're gonna open one there too.
Cool.
They
must be doing good business.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, they are great and have such like low turnover. That's why everyone knows me, because I go in consistently, and then it's all the same people. I'm like, oh wow, you're still here. I've been here a year, and still same people.
I don't care how soccer mom we get on this episode. I'll talk coffee all night long. What's your favorite drink? What's your favorite coffee drink?
So recently, because it's been summer months, I've been drinking iced Americanos. I love the taste of espresso, but I can't just drink espresso black. I can just to taste the flavor profiles, but it's not something that I like enjoy. So this next step would be like an Americano. So I'll usually just have a black Americano, iced, because it's a very light drink.
Drinking the grown-up drinks, though.
Yeah, in the winter months, I just drink a plain latte.
Wow, nice. I remember when I was a barista about 1,000,000 years ago, when I was in my early 20s. I worked at a Barnes & Noble bookstore, and of course they license Starbucks. Right. So I wasn't actually an official employee of Starbucks. I was just licensed to serve their stuff. And because I'm, I think maybe 21 years old at the time, and just a big bag of stupid, like, playing in rock bands and just being absolutely irresponsible. And you can't put me in front of equipment at that age. You can't, because what I'm going to do, and which I did, was I took a 32-ounce cup.
Yep.
At the end of the night, and I filled it with espresso, just daring myself. Nobody even. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's see.
I ate coffee grinds today for funsies. No, and then I dared my coworkers to do it. They're like, "Why did you do that?"
Well, I did it, and I'm convinced to this day. I blame that instrument on why I've never ever done drugs, because I feel like I've done all the cocaine in the world, so I don't need that experience anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Do you ever bake with coffee grounds, like brownies and cookies and stuff?
On occasion. I have not been baking much since I moved to Vegas because it's kind of warm out here.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I have not, but I'm very much into baking as well. Like, I wanted to make a cafe, and I was doing a lot of research on baking, especially like vegan baking, because I feel like food is culture, and a lot of times I've had a lot of friends that are vegan or have allergies, and I can't eat with them at certain places, and like I feel like everyone should have a place where they can eat. Like, everyone at my table needs to eat.
Oh, absolutely.
Hell yeah.
So I do a lot of like various types of baking, but haven't recently.
I love how wholesome this episode has become.
Love it. Last episode,
Ashley opened up. Yeah. She came in hard.
Oh yeah,
she came in hard.
Yeah, Ashley did have
started right away with where she's shoving fruits.
Yeah, wow. Yeah. She was talking about a solo she shot. She's like,
the banana.
Yeah, fucking around with artichokes.
All of the fruits. Wow. All of the fruits.
I don't know if I could do an artichoke.
Yeah, that was part of the joke. She was like, she posted artichoke so people would like recognize what it was and be like, you can't use that for sex, but nobody actually did.
Do you have now I'm gonna bring it back the other way. Is there like a thing that you specialize in when you're in performer mode, or a thing that like your fans are always clamoring for?
I wouldn't say I have a specialty in anything, but just overall performance, I am very consistent. If you told me, hey, this podcast, you need to actually just do this thing, I'm like, okay, I can do it. Like, no issues at all. Like, I can perform like in front of anyone, and I don't really get stage fright because I just don't tend to feel like self-conscious, because I think as I've grown, like I've learned that like, everyone's gonna find beauty in one way or another. Like most of the time I don't look at my own photos, I don't look at my own videos, because I don't love how I look. And especially like in certain angles, and people will be like, oh wow, you look so good in that angle. I'm like, well, thanks, I hate it.
Relatable.
But you know what, I'm not gonna voice that because you like it. Like at the end of the day, like you're the one consuming that media.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to do something that I know people are going to love.
Absolutely.
And like that, for me, that's my specialty. Like I'll do whatever needs to be done to like make something look good. Yeah, and even if they say that, like, if I think that is the stupidest thing ever, I give that example. Like if someone pays me to zoom in on the mole, one of my moles on my face, and that's it, like I will let that happen. I think it's stupid, but you know what? If that's what you want, and you're paying me for it, I'm gonna do it.
They open the wallet. Yeah,
I'm gonna do it. Like
supply and demand. Yeah, and if you're comfortable, get it.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of performers that there's just certain things they don't do, and not because of like boundaries, but because they are not like, it doesn't like do anything for them sexually.
Oh yeah.
And for me, like a lot of the things that I do like doesn't get me off sexually to begin with. So I'm just like, yeah, whatever. But I'm also on that flip side, I am, as a performer, I come very, very, very easily. In my everyday life, people, like when I used to hook up more, they would be like, wow, I made you come. And I was like, it's not significant. I'm like, I take like 2 minutes to come, and like you just keep going, then I'll do it again, and then I'll do it again, and I'll do it again.
I'm kind of a sure thing here.
Yeah, like you will, if you do not make me come, that is going to be crazy, like, absolutely crazy. Like how could you not? Like there's not been anyone that hasn't been able to make me come.
Goddamn.
So like with that said, since we are going down a little sexual, what are some of the like your favorite fetishes to explore on camera?
On camera is definitely very different from like my personal life, but on camera I do like feet. I love doing feet stuff, armpit stuff. I love topping on camera. I love topping on camera.
Yeah, you have like a favorite like go-to toy that you always use, or is it just up to the scene?
I always, so what I do, if I have a scene with someone that I'm topping, I bring like 6-7 toys, and I tell them like, choose what makes you comfortable. What do you want inside of you? Like at the end of like, because I am very much a service top. And especially since I strap, like I get no physical pleasure from like topping. I get mental pleasure. So if my bottom isn't happy, like what am I? Oh my God. Like what's the point? Like there's literally no point for me to top someone aggressively with a toy that they don't like, and then for them not to come. Like why did I do that?
Right.
Like, that's not fun for anyone.
Oh yeah, I definitely identify as a service top there. Yeah.
Speaking Stephanie's language, because she's very much like lifestyle. When I first met her, she taught me things in terms I've never heard of. So as soon as you said service top, I was like, Steph. And then
so that like predominant, like, are you predominantly submissive, or like in your personal, or
in my personal life? I am usually submissive because it's easier in general, and most of the time, the people that I'm sleeping with, it's like going to be during a hookup. and a lot of those people are just like really caring about their own pleasure. So then it's easier for me to just like lay there. I mean, I'm like, I know, like, one, I know I'm gonna come. Two, like, just do whatever. Like, it's fine. So then I just come off as like not like overly submissive, but like just like kind of a little bit of a pillow prince, a little bit. Honestly. It's, like in my personal life, if I'm doing a hookup, like I'm definitely a pillow prince. But if I'm with someone that I care about, like I am, even if I'm bottoming, I'm 90% of the time on top. Like I'm riding dick 90% of the time, and I will be down between their legs for like 40 minutes. I'm like, I'm chilling. Like we're like, but I don't even like during hookups. I don't give oral during hookups. I don't kiss during hookups. I don't. Most of the time that I'm like, hit it from the back. Don't look at me.
I have this book and this wonderful cup of coffee. You just go ahead and you.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Literally.
That's where that meme comes in. Like, would you video game with me with my ass out?
When I was actually still living in Humble on my Grindr, my profile essentially said that like, hey, if you give me like a rad massage, like you can fuck me. Ooh. So I was getting like free massages like all the time, and like I would just like let them fuck me afterwards. I'm like, I just wanted this massage, and I got to come too. That's cool.
No,
win-win.
I tried a dating app once, and it wasn't for me. I know it's very popular around here. As trans mask person, how does that like work? Do you find a lot of success on like your grinders and your things?
If I got on Grindr right now, I would at least have 10 people hit me up.
Really?
Immediately.
Wow.
Very popular. People are like very curious. I've noticed, especially in Vegas, there's not as many trans guys here, at least or there's not a lot on Grindr. Because there's like a setting where you can just like change to trans, and then you'll see sometimes there's trans girls on there, and then sometimes there's trans guys on there, but there'll be like, 20 trans girls on there, and there'll be like 3 trans guys, and most of the time they're like much older trans guys, or like young like baby trans guys that haven't like really like transitioned or anything. And then there's me. I'm 24. I am not a baby trans anymore. So that I am hit up very quickly. Yeah. I've not hooked up with anyone though here in Vegas that I haven't had like some type of like relationship with.
Sure.
So yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's why I haven't hooked up with anyone here, because no one gets tested. I'm like, I'm not down. I'm not down.
Yeah. Definitely be careful.
Yeah, we absolutely have to be careful with that. Yeah. Very good point.
Yeah. So that's my biggest thing. Like, I haven't hooked up with anyone in like way over a year, because
wow.
Yeah, now that I'm more in the professional side of the industry, I am super careful about who I sleep with. Though recently, unfortunately, I did get chlamydia recently.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I remember I took this guy to Dan's party. Okay. You were there.
Oh, okay. Was that the New Year's?
New Year's party, blonde hair guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gave me chlamydia.
Gee.
No.
I thought like we were monogamous.
Oh no.
So
lying.
Yeah.
Men.
And I had got tested because the last time I shot was in October. So I got tested in October, did that cohort of people, and got tested again in December. Nothing. Only seeing this one guy. As far as I knew, he said that he wasn't seeing anyone.
Right.
So we weren't in a relationship, but he said that he was like monogamous. Like we were, and like if he were going to sleep with anyone, he would tell me.
Well, that's a funny way of telling you.
Yeah. And it was, and then, so December I got tested, nothing. Okay. And then we weren't together, but I like kind of broke up with him, in March.
Wow.
Like shortly before the tease, because I knew I was going to Japan. I was like, I need to break up with this fool, or like whatever we were. I don't know what we were.
Right. It was just time to end that.
Yeah. I was like, I need to end it.
Fuck
like,
boy, be gone.
Yeah. I was like, I know, like he's lying about stuff, and I caught him, like saying, like I had asked him, hey, have you slept with anyone recently? Because we like took a break, and then I came back to him and whatever, and I was like, hey. Well, we weren't seeing each other. Like, did you see anyone? He's like, no. Okay. And then I was kind of testing him because One, because he had said that he was going to get tested, like, yeah, STI testing, and supposedly he did, or he was going to. And I was like, oh, yeah, so then did you sleep with anyone from this date to this day? And he's like, no. I'm like, okay, did you sleep with anyone before that? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, so remember that time where you said, no, you hadn't, but I had to, yeah. And then he's like, oh, but it was just a blowjob. I was like, I was like, and he was like, it was protected. I was like, you're a liar. No one does protected, I'm sorry, no one does protected blowjobs.
Oh my God. How old was this dude?
He was 25, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like, I'm sorry, like, no one really does.
No.
Like, we all, if you do, like, cool, good on you.
I mean, like, the majority. It's good when you can get it, like, especially, like, if it's a service thing, because, like, that's definitely something I aim for with service. But, like, in personal life, hell fucking no.
Yeah. And then I got tested in March, like, a few days after I broke up with him. Or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I'm finally going to get back into filming. I was on such a long filming break because I hadn't filmed from October. So it was October, November, December, January, March. 6 months. I was on a 6-month filming break. And because I was seeing this guy and I didn't completely trust him. So I didn't want to pay for testing and for something to come back.
Right.
So I broke up with him and I got tested. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to finally get back into like filming. I'm going to film right before the teas, maybe a couple times at the teas. And then I'm like, chlamydia. And then I called him. I was like, bitch. You gave me chlamydia. He's like, no. He was like, no, I didn't. He was like, I got tested. I don't have chlamydia. I'm like,
I know, because you gave it to me.
You son of a bitch, it transferred.
Yeah, he's like, I don't have chlamydia. I was like,
yeah.
Like, how would I have chlamydia?
So it's a 3 to 30 day window for chlamydia.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, 3 to 30 day, and sometimes even 3 months if it's like, a sneaky form.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But I hadn't slept with anyone since October and got tested in December. So it was...
Wow.
Yeah.
This is like adjacent to the story, but I'm just curious because knock on wood, I've never had any kind of like VD or anything. Mm-hmm. So what do you do is that just like antibiotics or what do you do?
I was on antibiotics for a week and that was it.
Oh. Yeah. I had chlamydia as a teenager.
Oh, wow. Bad kid.
Slutty girl. Dirty, slutty girl, I kind of got in early, I guess.
Oh, yeah. No. I remember because we met, 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Even, longer now. Maybe we're coming up on like 12. You were just a kid. You were 21, 22.
Yeah.
And you were...
I left town around 2021. Like, not 2021, but around 21.
Yeah, you were...
I left town in 2021.
Firecracker is what you were.
No, definitely.
You got around.
No, so yeah, and... Actually, that's a funny fucking story. That's kind of fucked up, actually. We had one LGBTQ center in the city I was from. We don't have to mention it. Went to it. And that was around the time that the chlamydia test. They had to put a Q-tip in your dick.
Ooh.
Yeah. Like not like far, but like, penetrate your dick hole, like sound you with a Q-tip. Either that or she was being a torturous bitch. Like, and there was an intern right there, like a 19-year-old or whatever, like that.
God.
And she was like 30 something. So I was like, because it was cold outside, I was shriveled.
Oh no.
It was funny. I was like, oh man, this is embarrassing as fuck. But yeah, got through it. It was a cocktail that they gave you. They just gave you a cocktail of 3 things. Sometimes they give you a shot. That's more for like syphilis. So I never have had it, but I've heard it. Actually, last time I was at the LGBTQ center here, the center, which is like really great here. It's really good. And really affordable on testing too. Like the whole panel for like fucking $60.
Oh, nice.
Oh, I actually didn't know that.
Yeah. And that's with insurance. It's a little bit higher without insurance. But there was this lady that she was in great fucking pain. Like she was like groaning each step, like
Oh wow.
I heard that the syphilis one is like gnarly.
It's not. It's a very viscous one. She told me about it.
Oh,
Yeah,
Biscuit.
The viscosity is what makes it hurt so much.
I wonder if I would have been fine if I ever did one, because I've been like, for such a long time, I did testosterone, which is like it's really like it's pretty thick. It's pretty oily.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know that, actually. I didn't know that. Yeah, and then it hurts for 6 fucking hours. And it doesn't really die down at all. Like it can, especially if you take like pain pills and shit. But oh man,
Yeah.
And unfortunately, she was a survival worker and shit like that. And she was like, "These fucking guys don't wear condoms." Da 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 da. I was like, oh.
Yeah, I just took antibiotics for 7 days. The worst part was just like I had like a going away party with like my friends, with my other coworkers, because they knew I was going to Japan, and I couldn't drink, so that sucked just because I couldn't drink all the antibiotics, and I was just like, everyone was like partying in my like vapor. I'm like,
Damn it.
but luckily it was timed like perfectly that when I got to the teas, I was already done with all my antibiotics. So I got to drink the teas. That was
very good.
That was like my first drink. I was like, yeah.
That's a good first drink too.
yeah, it was good.
So this is a question that I would really like to know from you, because you're so passionate about what you do. Like what, and this is a boring question. What do you think are some of the must-have scenes for your fans?
Like for like scenes that I need to make.
Oh, well, either that you need to make or that you've already made that you're like really proud of, you want them to see.
Oh, okay. So I recently done one. This was a scene for Transnificent. It was a solo scene, actually. I did a voiceover for it.
Oh,
and so it was kind of like a audio visual porn, which I had never done before, and I kind of like walked through it, like while also like doing it wasn't like a JOI.
Okay.
But it was just me kind of telling a story while also like masturbating.
So was the visual part like silent movie, and then you're like narrating it?
Yeah.
Is that what it was? Oh,
Yeah.
Neat.
So
That's
that
cool.
one, that was really fun to do, and I really pushed Nikki because it was a videography style that she's not necessarily comfortable with. She's not super into like very like erotic type scenes. She likes everything's completely well lit. There's no shadows. Like there's not
high key shooting. Yeah.
High key diffuse.
Yeah. So we had a lot of little cuts. Like we did so many like B-rolls.
Oh wow. Yeah.
It took a while to edit. We had to like find certain music, like royalty free music.
Yeah.
That was a really good scene that I personally loved, and I love like how my body looked and how my skin looked extremely smooth.
Oh, nice.
And it was just like, it was a very body confident day. So like it has not gotten enough love, and it definitely needs to, because I just love how I look in it. There's so many good, and we did all of the stills for it. We did like we were supposed to do 100 stills. We got like 200 or 300.
Oh wow.
And then so there's a lot of stills, and the shots are just gorgeous. Love. And then I also have a space series.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
So I like to do like comedy porn.
Oh,
so
yeah.
that's fun.
There you go.
Yeah. That one's
That's
a
nice.
pretty good series that I'd like to work on some more.
Is that just like you by yourself, or
No, I've had like different people.
what's the premise?
So the premise is that I am a space engineer. And then, so the first part, I go to fix someone's ship, and, he's like has an issue with his ship, and I'm an engineer. I'm also wearing chaps, assless chaps.
Like you do in space.
Yeah. And I have my head
All
balls.
standard engineer garb, of course. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I had like, some like tools and like belt, and I came up with like a little like, well, actually it was a really big, heavy toolbox, so I had to like pretend that it was not heavy, but it was heavy. It was really heavy. So yeah, that one was really fun. And then I was like, oh no, the ship is telling us to have sex because it's rattling. And we have sex. Yeah. So that's great. And then I did little off series off of that. This is gonna make no sense, but so here I am making out as a cowboy with my cowboy boyfriend. Keith Eros, cowboy boyfriend, making out with as a cowboy boyfriend. We're both wearing straps.
Going Brokeback Mountain.
And then
hot.
scene change. There is a alien watching us. he is having issues with his ship. So he figures, oh my God, I need to reach out to Keith Eros, the engineer. So he looks at his facial recognition device, which is like this like just piece of cardboard we put on the on the wall, and we like green screened him watching the video of me making out with my cowboy boyfriend, and he uses his facial recognition thing to find Keith Eros, and he finds Keith Eros. He's like, where's Keith Eros's head balls? Why is he a cowboy? And he's like, whatever, I need my ship fixed. So he beams in to the Cowboys set.
Yeah.
And it's all the same like corner in Nikki's loft. It's all the same. But we had to like tear down the set, film all of the space portion, and then tear down and film all of the ranch version. So it was all the same set, and like, you could see it was like the same couch. Like you knew it was the same spot, so it was just funny. And he like beams in, and he's like watching me and my my boyfriend, and I'm like sucking my boyfriend's dick, and I'm like watching him, and I'm like, what's up? And then like my cowboy boyfriend like literally does a double take. He's like, whoa, it's really funny. And then he's like, I need you to fix my ship. I'm like, he's like, you're Keith Eros, right? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, but I'm not an engineer, but I'll go look at your ship. So then he beams us onto our ship, and then we end up just fucking him. We fucked the space alien. Yeah. Nice. And then he's like, wait, you're not the real Keith Eros. You can go back home. But I'm not sure yet if I want to develop it as that is a there's like multi-dimensional Keith Eroses, nice. Or if that cowboy Keith Eros was pretending to just be a cowboy and actually is the alien Keith Eros engineer. So I'm not sure yet.
Got some threads there to follow up on.
Oh, Keith Eros fucking multiverse.
Yeah. So is it the cowboy Keith Eros? Is it the space alien Keith Eros? And then there's like my god Keith Eros persona too.
What is that?
Well, I don't know do you know what Eros means?
Yeah,
or what Eros is?
Like the god,
the god of like lust, right?
Yeah, he's a god of lust. So then I've done a lot of like that last the last video I was talking about, the one that I did the audio erotic stuff for. That one was me kind of dressed as a Greek god as well. So I do a lot of like Greek ish cosplay. I don't know if you'd call it cosplay, but it's just like a play on my name. So I dress up a lot for like that. Also, I kind of have a god kink, so I'm like, yes, worship me.
That's the first time I've like ever heard of that.
God kink, cool. Right?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. There's like the whole goddess and body worship. It plays into the whole domination fetish thing.
You definitely hear it a lot more with women, but I don't really know any men that really play on it. Yeah. So I
cornered that market.
Yeah, I try to like exemplify that a little bit, but I get lost, and then I start doing comedic porn, and then I start.
Honestly, that sounds
a lot.
That sounds so fucking cool. I might have to look this scene up and just see how wild
beautiful.
It is.
And then the one for the space one is beautiful too.
Yeah, the space one is the one I'm talking about. Yeah.
Oh, the space one is so beautiful. I actually have the entire intro and outro on Pornhub for free.
Oh,
I was like,
I'm gonna check that.
I was like,
this proud of it.
I'm like, this is a cinematic masterpiece. They won't get the sex, but they need to watch the intro and the outro. It's so good.
You gotta do that when you're proud of your work. Yeah, I do that kind of thing too. You take that, I'm just proud of this. I don't care if it's for you. And you just put it up there because look what I did.
Yeah. And like we did, it was all of the green screen stuff, the editing. Like we did not go into that day planning to do that, was the thing. Right. So we had two models that were coming over to shoot for Transnificent, and I asked like, hey, do y'all want to collab? And they're like, yeah, we're gonna. So then I was gonna collab with the two of them separately, and then I'm like, what if we did a threesome? And then I started looking through a costume bag. I'm like, what if I was a cowboy? And then it was Leo Lovely, and he's like, well, what if I was an alien? And then he gets like, there's like Nikki had this like belt, and he put the belt like over his like chest, over his nipples. So he was just wearing a belt on his nipples, and it was this like purple sparkly belt that's like not supposed to be there, but he just has like a belt, and it's like
wonderful.
It was ridiculous, and I loved it so much. And
queer cowboy love with interdimensional threads there.
Yeah, sometimes the best stuff that you make is just like no planning,
right off the cuff. Absolutely. So guys, I'm looking at our clock here. It just zoomed by. Just zoomed by. Now we still have a few more minutes, so listeners of the show know that we like to end on like this one particular question. There's like one or two that we always go to. So we'll tie a bow on this episode, but we got to have you back, please.
Yeah,
we got to have you back.
Absolutely.
But we'll wrap a bow on this one with this question. Now, you've been in the industry for about 3-ish years, right? So it's really exciting for me to get your perspective on this because we've only had trans girls that we've asked this question, right?
Yeah.
So what would be 3 pieces of advice that you'd give to somebody kind of coming into the industry?
Especially as a trans guy, community, I really haven't been too involved with the trans masculine community except for like the past year. And, I've seen ties like come and go, and I'm sad to see a lot of people don't want to rely on each other anymore. But I think that's so important to like have a strong community because you're all in it together. And especially with the trans guys, like we are quote unquote an emerging industry. We're really developing this industry right now. And if I hate to see it in a way where everyone's developing in a way that it's selfish. Like we're making this industry right now, we're putting it into the forefront, and we can do it in a way that is positive, that is supporting. And you're going to do that by creating community. Taking care of just yourself, like that is you are literally setting what the standard is. The standard is being established as we speak. And if that's how we're going to set it, I feel like in longevity, it's not good.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very important point.
So I think for trans guys, like that is like one of the number one things, but you said 3 things.
Yeah. If you can.
Yeah, you don't have. Yeah.
Number 2, let's see, of what, just I feel like with everyone, like finding your niche, like, and being true to yourself. I tend to have a lot of difficulty being a feminine Latino trans boy, getting a lot of like recognition and like being seen by different, by buyers, because I don't really appeal too much. A lot of times with trans guys, they like the trans guys to be some type of stereotype, and even for cis guys, I don't fit a stereotype. There's not a huge market even on the cis side of feminine Latino porn stars. Like there's not. And for me, I am continuing to keep true to myself, but sometimes it's hard. But I think finding your niche and like sticking to it even when it's hard, because people need to see that, and there's people that do want to see it. It might be harder to find them, but people want to see it.
Be resilient.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
So like I've gone through a lot of the hard times where I'm just like financially struggling, and I just like trying to get through it, but I'm like, I don't want to change myself. I don't want to start being more masked and presenting in a way that's not me. Like, it's just, it makes me uncomfortable. Like I don't want to do things like a certain way. Like who I am is like who should be loved.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So yeah, finding that niche for sure. And then the third thing, please do paperwork.
I was hoping you'd come with like a practical, because
please do paperwork. Take pictures of your IDs. God damn it. Please.
2257, model release, IDs, bunny ears. It all goes in a drawer.
Yeah.
Like seriously.
So Sophie Ladder's resources, use those.
Oh my God,
like,
please.
Use those. Like,
she's an angel. We got to have her on the show too.
Oh my God, absolutely. Like that, you could like talk the whole time just about the development of that.
Oh my God.
Like, geez, she is such an important resource, and everyone needs to be doing paperwork. OnlyFans tagging system is not
paperwork.
It is not paperwork.
No.
There's not. If the moment that OnlyFans decides to shut down or something happens, they decide they don't want sex workers on there anymore, you're going to lose all of your content. You cannot post that anywhere. That is going to be completely lost content if you do not have any paperwork.
And you possibly have a chance of being on the sex offender list.
Yes.
Yeah, if they pull it for a 2257 and you can't vouch.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do paperwork.
So
Paperwork. You listening, kids? Paperwork.
Integral.
Do your
It's
paperwork.
worth the extra 5 minutes.
It really is. And you don't you can have really complex paperwork, but you could just have like you just need a 2257, model release, IDs, you're done.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
Yeah, and you can even make it fun by working in a checklist, especially if you do like more extreme like BDSM stuff. You can put a checklist behind it or in front of it and say, "Hey, got a little incentive. What are you into?" And then also the scene partner knows what.
You know what? It feels really good being prepared, showing up on set and being the person that has all their shit in order.
Oh my God,
that's a really good feeling.
I've pretty much probably like 80% of my shoots, I brought paperwork. I'm like, here you go, and they're like, oh, paperwork.
Wow.
They're like, what's it for? I'm like,
oh my God.
And then I have to school someone, but like,
Right.
you know what? That's fine because like. If I will drill into the importance of paperwork, and then they'll be like, okay, I'm gonna start doing paperwork.
And it's app now mostly, but paperwork still is.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. And kitty cats, we are like out of time. But
I gotta piss.
geez. Well, yeah, we all got to take a trip to the bathroom. I believe you owe me one of your fine cups of coffee.
Oh, absolutely. I have my full setup at Nikki's house. If you ever come by, I will make you a bomb cup of coffee. You're welcome.
That is a deal.
Thank you.
All right. Keith, thank you so much for being on. Stephanie.
Yeah, fucking awesome. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you so much for thinking of me.
Absolutely. And can't wait to have you back. And with that, everybody, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. This has been another episode of the Approximate Podcast. Shut up, cat.
Dapper's trying to say bye.
All right.